Let me introduce you to my Mercedes diesel lunch bucket. That's right, this is the little lunch pail that I carry with me in my old Mercedes diesel anytime I go on a trip, just in case my diesel gets hungry. Well, it normally doesn't get hungry, but sometimes it might have a problem. So this is really not just the lunch bucket for eating, it's the emergency little tool and service kit that I carry inside the trunk back on one of those side wells. It fits in there very nicely. It's in a plastic case, so if you have any moisture in the trunk, it's not going to get anything wet or rusty. That is connected. But let me show you what's inside. We get a lot of requests. People say, Kent, what are your recommendations on what you should carry in the back of your old diesel to kind of have on the road with you in case you need to do any emergency repairs? And this is what I prefer to carry. First off is I always carry spare fuel filters. Always. I mean, this is probably one of the most common things that goes wrong on a long road trip. If you experience a sudden loss of power, it's almost always going to be either this main fuel filter or the plastic pre-filter. So I carry those with me at all times. Then you'll want to carry tools to change them. I don't carry this wrench in this particular kit here because it's kind of large, but I carry a large adjustable wrench in the trunk. That'll allow me to get to the bolt that holds the fuel filter in place. And it's kind of nice to have a large wrench in case you need something else. But I also carry other tools that will allow me to change the pre-filter, take the hose clamps off. I like these four-way screwdrivers with both Phillips and straight tips. That means I only have to carry one screwdriver and I can get any type of hose clamp off that I may need in the fuel system. I carry a 17mm open-end wrench. This allows me to break those injector nuts if I'm changing fuel filters or have any other type of fuel leak and I have air in the system. This will allow me to break those nuts and bleed the air out of the system more quickly. I also carry a 10mm combination wrench. How many things on a Mercedes that you know of that are 10mm? This is a very common use wrench and it can come in very handy. Then as a general purpose pliers, I prefer needle nose. Needle nose, it has a cutter which will allow me to cut hose, and the long tips will allow me to grab onto nuts. This is a very good tool to use when you're replacing the fuel injector return hose on the open road. You can get down in there and you can pull the old hose off, rip it off, and then you can use these needle nose pliers to help you push that hose back on. And of course, that's the next thing I'll mention there is I carry not only injector return line, but I carry a spare piece of vacuum line in case you have some sort of vacuum hose that breaks, and a small piece of vacuum hard line also if you're having any type of vacuum issue on the open road. Then I carry gloves. Always. I keep them in a bag just because they tend to last longer if they're in a little Ziploc bag. But I carry 3 to 5 pairs of nitrile gloves in my kit at all times, and nothing worse than getting out of your car on the open road and having to work on the engine and getting those hands all oily and greasy and you don't have any hand cleaner with you. So gloves are a must. Flashlight. Not all repairs can be done in daylight, and if you have to change a fuel filter in the darkness, it's awfully handy to have a little LED flashlight in this kit as well. I carry a fuel hose, a 5/16 or 8mm hose, and a few hose clamps. In case you develop any type of fuel hose crack or leak, you've got a piece of hose and some new hose clamps to fix any type of fuel leak. I mean, it's really tough to be on the road and have an injector return hose break or a fuel hose crack and you're dumping fuel all over the road and there's no way to drive anywhere to even get it fixed. So that's a must. Then there's the good old zip ties. You know, nothing like zip ties to repair numerous things that might come loose on your old diesel. Fuses. Always carry a little assortment of fuses. If it's appropriate, go ahead and carry the little strip fuse here too that's used for the relay. If you happen to blow a fuse on your relay, it's very hard to find these little strip fuses on any type of auto parts store. And then I just love these little right angle pick tools. You can get a hold of a lot of things in the engine compartment, pull off vacuum lines. You can use these to pull off the injector return hose. So I love to have a little right angle pick tool in my kit. And then finally, this is not a must-have for the open road, but I like to have one of these battery post cleaners in my car. If you have any problem with corroding terminals, or you get up in the morning and the car won't start, you realize there's a little corrosion on the battery. It's nice to have this handy. You can get that battery cable off and get that cleaned up. So those are the basics. I mean, you can make your own kit, but the important thing is to remember to not only carry the parts you need, but to carry the tools. I've had people carry spare fuel filters in their car. That's not going to help you if you don't have the tools to change them. So when you put your own kit together, be sure and think through the type of parts and hardware you want, and then make sure you have the tools to replace those. And you can use one of these vinyl bags or all kinds of different things, but I like these little hard plastic cases that fit right down in that side well. I encourage you to go out and make your own little emergency trip kit for your own diesel. You can customize it, put your own years, filters in it, and any other specialty parts that you think you might need, and then get it in a case and keep it in the car when you go on these trips. And I'll tell you, it's going to really pay off for you.